Hello, hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we're doing the 9th recipe from the Cream Puff Murder. They are Terry's Carrot Cake Cookies and Terry's Cream Cheese Frosting. So while I don't think these are going to be very hard, getting all of the ingredients together took a hot minute because there is a lot. So for starters, these have to chill in the fridge for about 2 hours, so we're not really worried about preheating the oven right now. But you need 1 cup of butter that's 2 sticks at room temperature, 2 cups of white sugar, 3 eggs beaten, 1 cup unsweetened applesauce, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 4 teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg, a teaspoon of salt, a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple, very well drained, 1 cup of golden raisins, 1 cup chopped walnuts, measure after chopping, 3.5 cups of flour, pack it down in the cup when you measure it, 1 cup of coconut, chopped a little finer than what comes out of the bag, 3 cups finely grated carrots, which that took a hot minute. It does say have like 3 notes of Terry's and then 1 of Hannah's. When she drains her crushed pineapple, Terry uses a wire mesh sieve and presses the pineapple against the mesh to remove as much liquid as possible. When she's in a hurry and doesn't want to grate her own carrots, Terry buys shredded carrots and then chops them a bit finer in her food processor with a steel blade or with a chef's knife on a cutting board. That would have been helpful. Terry says she uses a medium cookie scoop, approximately 2 tablespoons, and puts 12 cookies to a sheet. She always uses parchment paper instead of a bare cookie sheet. She rinses her cookie scoop after 4 or 5 cookies so the dough won't stick to the scoop. Hannah's note, these are a lot easier to mix if you use an electric mixer. You can also do them by hand, but it does take some muscle. I have never heard this note before, and I'm not quite sure what it means. Make sure your applesauce is well drained. You don't really want to add liquid here. I pat off any excess liquid with a paper towel before I add it to my bowl. Applesauce is nothing but liquid. That makes no sense. Most of it's just adding in the ingredients. Refrigerate it. When you do get to the point of preheating, it's 350. It says you'll about 12 minutes. Once they've cooled, take them off onto wire racks, and then let them cool the rest of the way. Approximately 10 dozen cookies. And then the cream cheese frostings, 8 ounces of cream cheese at room temperature, 1 stick of butter at room temperature, 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract, a 1-pound box of confectioner's sugar, 3.5 to 4 cups. And this frosting is a win-win proposition. If it turns out to be too thick to spread, mix in a few drops of milk or cream to thin it. If it turns out to be too thin, mix in more confectioner sugar, and then just spread it on the cookies and let it harden. So that is everything. We have everything laid out. Let's get started. This is everything we need for both the cookies and the icing. All right, so the first thing we want to do is to beat the butter and the sugar together. Butter, sugar, and eggs. That's the butter, the sugar, into the eggs. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really get the whole excess liquid thing here. It's applesauce. It's not like there's a bunch of extra liquid just sitting on top. So I'm not really sure what liquid you're supposed to be pulling out of it. So I'm just I'll add it in and hope for the best. So I'm just going to add the applesauce. The baking soda. Baking powder. All of the cinnamon, the nutmeg and the salt. And let that mix for a minute. I'm just going to try to mix in this part up here that's splashed. Next to the party is the pineapple. The raisins. And the walnuts. I'm starting to see the extra liquid that's going into this, and I'm not sure how it's going to absorb, because yes, it gets 2 hours in the fridge. Yes, there's 3.5 cups of flour, but I'm wondering if that's enough. But I'm going to start tossing it in a little at a time. So the rest of this goes in by hand. We're just making a mess today. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be a messy day. Hopefully not a messy cookie. Try to get the rest of the flour in there. It does very much look like a cake dough, not a cookie dough, which is very worrisome. Alright, so it says to coconut and cheddar carrots must eaters. So mix in coconut and then the carrots. Which at least the coconut is not wet, so it should add another layer of trying to thicken this up. So that's good. Lastly going in is the carrots. Nice bright orange. I think this would make an amazing cake. I do. I am worried about it making decent cookies. It is going to make a lot. I think it's going to make more than the 10 dozen they said. But I do think this is going to be quite a lot of cookies. So I'm just going to cover this up and put it in the fridge, and we will check on it in a couple of hours. Alright, so that is what they come out with. I'm just going to scoop up the rest and we'll see how many we get. So I got them all scooped up. There are 1 shy of 9 dozen. They're going to bake at 350 for 12 minutes, cool for 1, and then finish cooling on a wire rack. Okay, so we have all of our cookies. They are cooled off and we need to do the icing for them. So the first thing is to mix the cream cheese and the butter. Next, we'll add the vanilla. Then we will sprinkle in the powdered sugar a little bit at a time. Or we can dump in half and call it good. You scrape down the beaters on the side of the bowl, try to get all that excess mixed in. The icing is coming together nicely, smooth and creamy. Remember the directions say if it's too stiff, add milk. If it's too wet, add powdered sugar. I don't think I will need to add anything. As far as icing them goes, now these are very soft, very wet, moist cake-like cookies. So I don't know if storing them long-term is going to work. These are very much, and eat them within like a day or two, which is crazy because the recipe makes so much. But we're just going to take a little bit of icing on each cookie, smooth it out. And there we go. I'm just going to ice up the rest of these and I'll show you when I'm done. We have all the cookies baked and iced. They are now ready to be eaten. Now, the first thing to be said about these cookies is they are very cake-like. They literally feel like little blobs of cake. They are very soft and they are very wet. Even the structure inside looks like a cake. So, has a very good spice ratio, and the cream cheese frosting smooths everything out. If you enjoy carrot cake, I think this is a really good cookie for you. It is a lot of time between chilling and getting all of your ingredients together and icing. So I don't think I will make them again, but they are not bad. Next week, we are making candy bar cookies. If you're interested in seeing those, join us next week. I hope you all have a good one. Bye.